Shalom and welcome to Exploring the Backgrounds. We're in a series talking about coverings. Today, our topic is especially interesting because for many, you will have never heard of it. It's going to deal with wild hair in the scriptures. Now, if you read from, say, a non-Jewish publication, what we would call a Christian Bible, it's not going to come up. It's going to be over and over. It's just going to be glossed over. However, I want to read out of the Jewish Tanakh. I have several different editions of the Tanakh. We're going to read from the book of Yehezkel or Ezekiel, and it's talking about the Kohanim, the priest. And so what it tells us, let me show you each as I do. This is going to be from Art Scroll, and it's the commentary on Yehezkel. Art Scroll is the largest Hebrew English publisher in the world. And so we're going to go to the 44th chapter. We're going to go to the 20th verse. It says, "Their heads they may not shear, nor a wild growth may they permit." They are to keep their heads trimmed. Okay, so there we have a wild growth they are not to permit. Okay, so now I'm going to read from this as another series from Art Scroll. This is called their Prophets series. Which they have here on the side, and all the prophets are covered. And this is the volume on Yehezkel. And so remember that this is by a different translator. Same company, but a different translator. And so verse 20, he says, "They shall not shave their heads, nor shall they allow them to grow wild. They shall keep their heads trimmed." Okay, so that's two. Go to the Stone Tanakh. Now again, this is Art Scroll, but again, we have a different translator. And let's see how he translated this. And so verse 20, "They shall not shave their heads, nor shall they allow them to grow wild. They shall keep their heads trimmed." Okay, so I'm going to put this one to the side. Now this is from a different company. This is Judaica Press, and this is the book of Ezekiel. And so let me read from here. Chapter 44, Ezekiel, verse 20. And it says, "In the hair of their heads they are not to shave, but also not to let it grow wild. They must be careful to trim the hair of their heads." Okay, so we have now, I've given you 4 different translations of the same verse, all from Jewish publishing companies, and every one of them translated this term to be wild growth or wild hair. Now, this is the one volume of the Mishnah. There's 21 books in this set. This is the Mishnah. It's translated by Pinhas Kahati, and it has his commentary on it. So I'm going to go to the Tractate Keli. And it's talking about the priest. Now, I want to describe a little bit of what we have here. And by the way, we're going to come back to what we saw before because we want to pick up something. But here we have a diagram of the temple. Now, this is going to be your inner courtyard right here, especially the peak. These are the buildings around the inner courtyard. And this is a little bit outdated. This is a floor plan that I put together back in 2006. But about 2010, 2011, we discovered another building behind the temple building that allowed us to move this book further to the west, this building further to the west, and this building further to the west, extending the areas between our corner buildings. Now, what we're going to concentrate on is this area here. This is the most important area of the temple. We have the temple building called the Beit HaMikdash. It's going to be divided into 3 portions. Okay, the 3 portions are going to be the Holy of Holies, called the Kodesh HaKodeshim, where you see the number 4 here. That's called the HaKodesh, or the Holy Place. And then this long, what looks like the top of a T, is what is called the Ulam, or the porch to the temple. Now we have 12 steps here that go up to it. This is the altar. This is the slaughter area. This right here is called the Ezrat Kohanim, the court of the priest. It's 11 cubits wide, 135 cubits long. We have the platform called the Dukan right here, where the Levitical choir stood. There were 3 steps that they stood upon. And then here we have another courtyard that's called Ezrat Israel, the court of Israel. Now, men of Israel can be selected to come in and stand in this area and recite what we call the Amidah, as the incense is being burned inside here in the morning service and the afternoon service. Now, just because you're Israelite doesn't mean that you're going to be able to come up and stand in here. You have to be selected to be part of what is called the Ma'amad, the standing men that are going to represent for a week in the year. They will represent their communities that they come from. They are gathered from all of Israel, and so that's our components of the Azarah. Okay, now we have in Kali, it's telling us about levels of sanctity, what's called Kedusha in Hebrew. So it tells us first off that the land of Israel has a higher sanctification than all the other lands, and it gives us 2 scriptural reasons for the Torah for that. Then it says cities with a wall around them, meaning in the land of Israel and for the time of the conquest, they have a higher degree of sanctity, and it gives you the reasons for it. Then it goes to Jerusalem. And so to pick up in Jerusalem, and it says within the walls, meaning the walls of Jerusalem is more sanctified than this, for we may eat there Kodashim Kalim, which means 2nd degree sacrifices, and Maaser Sheni, which is 2nd tithe. Then it says Har Habayit. Now, Har Habayit is going to be all of this area that you see in the red right here. Har Habayit is more sanctified than this. That means the Temple Mount. And it gives you who may enter there. It says for Zavim, Zavot. Okay, that's going to be Zavim is going to be men that have a genital discharge. They can't go in there. Zavot is women that have an issue of blood outside their menstrual cycle. Nidot is women in their menstrual cycle, having menstrual flow. And Yoldot are women that have gone through childbirth and have a discharge due to childbirth. They may not enter there. Then it says the Kel. Now the Kel is going to be a platform that goes around the inner courtyard like this. Okay? Right here. This is below, right below the Kel. And it's 10 cubits wide. It says the Kel is more sanctified than this, for Gentiles, one rendered impure by a corpse, may not enter there. Ezrat Nashim, this area right here where you see the green, number 5, is more sanctified than this, for a Tuvul may not enter there. Tuvul is somebody that did something that made them impure. They're going to be impure till the sun goes down and they go to a mikvah, an immersion. But they're not liable to a sin offering for it. Ezrat Israel, right here. Okay? Now remember, we're in the peak area. That's the most important. So Ezrat Israel is more sanctified than this. For one lacking atonement may not enter there. In other words, if you have a sin that hasn't been accounted for, and they are liable to a sin offering for it. Ezrat Kodim, right here, is more sanctified than this. For Israelites may enter there only at a time when they are needed for laying hands, for slaughtering, and for heaving. Okay? So, now here where it says Ezrat Kodim, we have Ezrat Kodim is going to be this short area right here, but it can also mean all of this area, including the temple building. Okay, so we have the Ezrat Kodim concise, and we have the Ezrat Kodim expanded. It's a little bit deep, but just hang with me. Now, what we're told is Israelites cannot go up into this area except for laying hands. That's on sacrifices. It's for slaughtering, they perform it. And for heaving, that's going to be wave offerings, okay? And wave offerings are going to be done in a certain way. So what I want you to notice is that in each one of these, it says, hey, if you have this impurity, you can't go into this area. If you're an Israelite, you can't go into that area. So the higher you go, the more restrictions you have in Kedusha. Okay, so we're going to go to Kelim 1:9. In Kelim 1:9, it says, between the ulam, that's the porch, between the ulam and the altar. Here's the altar. So we're going to have from the back side of the porch, that's the western side, to the eastern side of the altar. Between the ulam and the altar is more sanctified than this, for those with a blemish and those with wild hair. Wild hair may not enter there. And then it goes on to say that, I'm going to drop down, it says in 5 ways between the ulam and the altar corresponds to the hekal. Hekal is going to be this HaKodesh room, where the number 4 is. It says those with the blemish, and those with wild hair, and those who had drunk wine, and one who had not washed hands and feet, may not enter there. They must withdraw from between the ulam and the altar at the time of burning the incense. Now let me tell you, this is going to be most critical, because if one goes in without having washed their hands and feet into this area between here and here, there's a death penalty. Or if they go in and they have drunk wine. Now the scripture is not against drinking wine. It's not against priests drinking wine. It is, but there's a rule. You can't come into the Azarah. You cannot approach to the altar if you've had any wine. There's a death penalty on that. It's going to be the next verse in Ezekiel 44. It says, you can't have wild hair. You can't drink wine. Now, we have, during the festival of Sukkot, they're going to drink right here in this courtyard. It's commanded in Deuteronomy 14. So it's not a prohibition against wine. It's not a prohibition against drinking. It's not going to be a prohibition against hair. It's going to have to deal with approaching God with hair. Now I want to read from another book. This is the Art Scroll Mishnah series. There's about probably 35, 40 volumes of this. This is the Tractate Kelim, same as what I read to you from here. So I want to see if they translated it as wild hair also. And so we have between the ulam and the altar, this is Kelim 1:9, is holier than it, in that kohanim with blemishes or untrimmed hair may not enter there. The hekal is holier than it, in that one whose hands and feet are unwashed may not enter there. Now, I want to go down to the commentary here. All right, now, in the commentary it says, if a Kohen has a blemish that disqualifies him from serving in the temple, as defined in Leviticus 21, verse 16 through 20, and Bekorot, chapters 6 and 7. Bekorot's for the Mishnah. Or a wild growth of hair. That is, he did cut his hair for 30 days, and there are other reasons, okay? So what I want you to see is that consistently we have in the Jewish specter, they have an understanding of there's such a thing as wild hair. Now I want to read to you from some of the non-Jewish publications. And we're going to see first, let me read from the New American Standard. In verse 20, it says, and they shall not shave their heads, nor shall they let their locks grow long. And it goes on. And verse 21, what I mentioned before, nor shall any of the priests drink wine when they enter the inner court. Okay? I told you about that verse. So let's see here. Here's the NIV. New International Version, verse 20, they must not shave their heads nor let their hair grow long, but they are to keep the hair of their heads trimmed. No priest is to drink wine when he enters the inner court. Right? So now we're going to go to the New King James. And verse 20, And it says, they shall neither shave their heads nor let their hair grow long, but they shall keep their hair well trimmed. Notice how consistently in the Jewish translations they said they shall neither shave their heads nor have wild hair or wild growth. And then it says they shall keep their heads well trimmed. Okay? So there's an obvious difference between the English translations or the non-Jewish translations and the Jewish translations. And obviously we also have that a question of what is wild hair? Is to have your hair long, is that forbidden in Scripture? No, it's not. In fact, the Nazarites, they have their hair grow long. We have Nazarites from birth, like Shimshon, Samson. We have Shmuel. We have, I don't believe Shmuel was a Nazarite from birth. We have Eliyahu, Elijah. We have Yochanan Hamatvil. Now, they are not allowed, if they have their hair long, in order to go into this area. But it's not forbidden. We have the case of Absalom. Now, he's not a nice guy. And in fact, his hair is going to be something that brings his downfall because he is lifted up in pride and vanity. He gets into a battle. His hair is all the way down to his ankles, and everybody talks about his hair. In fact, it's like legendary, and he gets caught in the branch of a tree. And he's hanging there. He can't get loose, so they come up and they shoot him dead. And so, but hair is not prohibited. So what is the meaning of wild hair? Why is this important? I'm going to show you an article. You can find it on the internet. This is by a Cambridge University professor. And his name is Philip B. Payne, Payne. And let me read you a little bit about him. Philip B. Payne earned his PhD in New Testament studies at Cambridge University. He has taught New Testament studies at Cambridge University, Trinity Evangelical Divinity School, Gordon Conwell Theological Seminary, Bethel Seminary, and Fuller Theological Seminary. And then it goes on. Now, the title of his paper is Wild Hair and Gender Equality in 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verses 2 through 16. So that's where we're going to pick up. We're going to explore. We're going to find out exactly what is wild hair. What does it have to do with head coverings or not have to do with head coverings? And what is 1 Corinthians chapter 11 really stating to us? Is it stating when it says a man should not pray with his head covered, that he's not to have any type of head covering on his head? Or is it telling us something else? And can the key be in wild hair? Hope you'll join with us as we go into this. Shalom. Shalom. I hope you enjoyed the teaching we just went through. We have more that we have planned, but I'd like to show you my newest book. This is called Measure the Pattern, Volume 1. It deals with the latest research on the Holy Temple. It shows definitively exactly where the temple building was, all the various structures, the courtyards, and more than I can describe here. Go to our website. There's a link below and check the book out.